Hey guys, Dan Abbott here, and this time we're talking about filming penguins. Now, I know the intro video says shooting with sharks, but I spent a lot of time on it, so we're going to use that. Penguins are a really special animal, and there's a place in South Africa called Boulders Beach. You may have heard of it. In fact, uni lad shared a video of people overlooking some penguins on a beach not too long ago. Now you can observe them and watch them off of this little raised platform as they do their penguin things out on the beach, or you can go to the other side of the beach and actually walk on the beach with them. Now you don't have access to every part of the beach, but to the first few sections where the penguins still hang out, you can get some really nice moments hanging out with these South African penguins. Now these are wild penguins, and although they might be used to people walking on the beach, they don't really come up to you as if they're expecting food or anything like that. So more often than not, what happens is you'll be approaching them and they might kind of look at you and then actually start backing off and kind of disappear a bit. So to get footage of them, you have to be a bit careful with what you do. You don't want to go chasing them up the beach with your camera. So what I started doing was hiding behind rocks. I'd noticed the little lines that they were walking on to go kind of between the sections of the beach. So I'd find a big boulder, hence it's called Boulders Beach. I'd hide behind it and just start filming and wait for one to start walking past. Now that sometimes took quite a while. They might even suss out that I was hiding there and kind of walk up to the boulder, have a peer around and then disappear again. I did notice as well, being on the beach, that other tourists might turn up with their cameras. They want to get that perfect selfie, and they would go straight up to them and the penguins would vanish and you wouldn't see them again for like 10 minutes. So I deliberately didn't want to do that. I just sat in the same spot waiting for them to come close enough to me, and sometimes that took quite a while. Other occasions, you might have a group of them walking down towards the water, and if you just sat in the same spot and just hold your camera steady, let them come to you and they walk right past you. With all the shots that I collected, I put together a little video which I called a walk on a 540 million? Yeah, 540 million year old beach. So you can check that video out, I'll put it in the description below. But I want to talk a little bit about some of the camera techniques and some of the methods that we're using to try and capture some of these penguins. So we head down to the beach. We spent 3 days on the beach, not continuously of course. We had somewhere to sleep, don't worry. And we would film these penguins just kind of doing their thing. Sometimes they'd come close, sometimes they'd keep their distance. And what was really special was, because of the time of year that we were there, this was the time where they were just starting to raise their chicks. And they were quite big and fluffy, and we got to spend a little bit of time in the areas where the nests are, and you can kind of see them actually feeding their babies. The baby's obviously quite inquisitive and quite curious, and they might warm up to you a little bit more. We spent quite an hour probably with this little family that seemed to not mind us sharing their lives for a short brief period of time. And there's a fence that divides the people that are kind of walking on the path, the penguin nesting areas, or the other side of the fence, but you can kind of lean over and check them out. And so we got a little bit of footage of them, and they felt like they accepted us into their little world just for that brief moment, which was kind of nice. I kind of appreciated that they let us hang out with them. What I learned while I was there was that these penguins are actually endangered. They're going extinct, and for a lot of different reasons. A lot of them are man-made, of course, things like overfishing and pollution, but also because there's now a lack of sharks in South Africa, there's more seals. And the seals have worked out that they don't need to go out into the open ocean anymore to catch fish. They wait for the penguins to come back, attack the penguins, bite into their stomachs, and just eat the contents of the penguin stomachs. So the penguins are now facing threats from the seals that they previously kind of shared the same little rock with out in the ocean. So they're facing all kinds of different threats, and I wanted to make a video that showed the real personal side of them, get really close to them so that you could really kind of see it into their eyes. They really are the most amazing animals. Every shot that I did there I did handheld. Didn't want to be taking a big tripod onto the beach with me, carrying it around, because to actually get to some of the locations you have to do quite a bit of climbing over the top of boulders, squeezing through tight spaces, and you don't want to be doing that carrying a lot of gear. So the GH5 was perfect just to be able to carry into those little small areas. It was also really good for kind of keeping the image really stable. I could hold it close to my body, pressed into myself to keep the camera really steady, or balanced on my knee if I'm sitting on a boulder or sitting on the beach, sitting on the sand, somewhere like that. And I found that I could get some nice kind of really close intimate shots, especially some stuff in slow motion, 180 frames, where they're kind of just plodding on past and you can get a real sense of like their movement and their motion as they go. What was really interesting is that these little guys would start getting even more active at night. Once all the tourists had gone home, the car park was empty, then they would start plodding across the car park and like up the road. And there'd be times when we were coming back a little bit later on at night, we'd had dinner and the sun had gone down, it was dark, and we'd be driving along the road and these two penguins would be standing at the side of the road, like waiting to cross or something like that. So they don't seem to sleep when everyone else goes home, they then become a little bit more active. I suspect they are then going out and hunting as well at night, catching some more fish. So it was quite difficult when you're trying to park again, because where we were staying, our lodge was literally right on the beach, and so you're pulling in and you're trying to dodge penguins all over the place who are out for a midnight walk. The other fun part of Boulders Beach is all the rock dassies, which are like huge, oversized hamsters, and they kind of hide in the bushes, and we even saw them climbing trees. Like we'd hear a noise in a tree, have a look up, and there were 3 or 4 dassies hanging off these trees, and you're thinking, how are they hanging in there? Like, it doesn't look like an animal that should be able to hang in a tree. And they were just munching on the leaves, and then you'd hear a loud crashing noise and one had fallen out of a tree behind you. And the dassies seem to get on fairly well with the penguins. They kind of hang out together and they don't seem to mind each other. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Again, remember, check out the finished video, a walk on a 540 million year old beach, in the description below. Of course, leave a comment, leave a like, subscribe if you really enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys next time.